Congratulations. If you withstood the Bitcoin FUD up until now, you can finally breathe a sigh of relief and get ready for the next round of Bitcoin FUD. Welcome back, everyone. Let's dive into it. Just doesn't end, does it? We get some good news, but then there's always some of this FUD peppered in with it, right? It's always a little bit more FUD. Anyways, will Germany's 900 Bitcoin dump tank Bitcoin below 60K? It's kind of funny though, because we kind of bottomed 2 days ago at 58.4. So I kind of feel like this is already a nothing burger. Yeah, it's already a nothing burger. But nonetheless, let's dive into this and see what type of FUD is being produced. So, the German government has resumed liquidating its seized Bitcoin assets, sparking concerns about further price declines. Oh, look at that, huh? And what this does is it inspires the weak hands to and I'm not saying that is necessarily the goal behind this. I'm just saying that this is one of those kind of, I guess you call them like second or third order effects, right? Which is essentially, people read this news, and if they don't have enough conviction, or possibly they overextended themselves into Bitcoin, bought too much Bitcoin, more than they can handle in terms of like their daily, weekly, monthly expenses, well, this type of news is going to shake them out. Or it may partially shake them out, right? Get them to sell at a discount to what they really wanted to sell. And of course, that's going to obviously enrich, or I shouldn't say enrich, but that's obviously going to get bought up by the institutions and or people with stronger hands, or people with a longer time horizon. Anyways, let's continue on. A cryptocurrency wallet labeled German government BKA transferred 400 Bitcoin worth about 25 million to cryptocurrency exchanges Coinbase and Kraken. 500 BTC, over 30 million worth, was moved to an unknown address, a wallet labeled 139 PO, according to Arkham Intelligence. This isn't the first interaction between the German government and the 139 PO wallet. Previous transactions include 800 BTC sent on June 20th and 500 BTC on June 19th. Despite these sales, the wallet still holds 46,359 Bitcoin, valued at approximately 2.8 billion. These Bitcoin assets were initially seized, and this is the key, guys. Seized, and we're gonna circle back to this at the end, because I'm gonna lay out what I believe is essentially the government playbook for Bitcoin. But anyways, we'll see. Anyways, so yeah, they seized this from a movie piracy website, movie2k.to, in January 2020, marking the largest Bitcoin seizure by German law enforcement. Last week, the government sold around 325 million worth of Bitcoin, indicating a significant step in liquidating their holdings with potential for further sales on the horizon. The government labeled wallet holds over 2.8 billion worth of BTC and could introduce significant selling pressure that might push Bitcoin's price below the key 60K psychological mark. The recent sell-offs have coincided with a bearish trend in the crypto market. The timing of the sell-offs, combined with other market pressures such as large outflows from Bitcoin spot exchange traded funds, has exacerbated the price declines. So I want you to think about this, guys. All of this BTC is being dumped on the market. We're sitting at 61K. Sorry, I just don't buy this FUD. I just don't buy it. Like, obviously, I'm talking about it because I do want to address what I believe is actually going on, but I'm sorry. They're trying to make us worry, but I'm just not worried. The crypto market has experienced heightened volatility, with liquidations topping 300 million on Monday. While this number seems pretty large, right? 300 million, that's about, if we go about using a current price of Bitcoin of 61K, it's like 4,900 something Bitcoin. Really, again, like, this is not that much. Like, for whatever reason, it seems as though there are forces trying to pull this market down. And it would seem that that's probably going to end up causing like a slingshot effect. Just my opinion. Anyways, let's wrap this. We'll wrap this up, and then we can dive into the tinfoil hat and conspiracy theory takes. All right. Despite the recent dip, the German government's current holdings of 46,359 Bitcoin worth 2.8 billion continue to pose a significant risk of additional market fluctuations. As the situation develops, investors will be closely monitoring the government actions and the broader market's response to these substantial Bitcoin liquidations. And what this does is it sets the precedent for, hey, don't listen to your gut. Don't pay attention to your own stuff. Just wait, because the news is coming, and we're gonna kind of tell you what to do. Okay, so couple of things, couple of points here. The first point about these sell-offs taking place, alongside the ETFs, and this being kind of a coincidence or coinciding with it, whatever. Anyways, the point is this, right? If you're paying attention, in January, we were sitting around 40K. Okay, January of 2024, we were sitting around 40K USD. And then within approximately 3 months, we went all the way up to 73,600 and change. Okay, so this idea that, all of a sudden there's some kind of a problem that we need to pay attention to, liquidations that are somehow going to negatively affect Bitcoin, you need to zoom out and realize the massive move that we just made and that we are setting up for the bull market. That's the first thing, right? The second thing, governments, see, unlike their money printer, they can't just print new Bitcoin, right? They can't print new Bitcoin and then dump it out onto the market. Indeed, there's going to be an argument made for derivative products, right, such as the ETFs and stuff like that. Sure, that kind of crap they can mess with, but at the end of the day, actual Bitcoin, they cannot print. So as a result, once they dump that Bitcoin that they have, they can't redump it again. Okay. And the only way that they could find a way to redump it would be to buy it back in the market. And of course, you'd say, well, no, they're the government. They don't have to buy it back. And you'd be absolutely right. You know why? Because they can steal it. And that brings us to our third point, right? The government is essentially, if you pay attention, right, what are we seeing? The US government seized Bitcoin, sold it onto the open market. We've got the German government seized Bitcoin, dumped it out onto the open market. So you see, this whole, when I listen to a lot of the influencers and their hopium and all this crap, about the governments, coming to Bitcoin, and they're gonna denominate everything in Bitcoin. They don't have to do any of that shit. All they have to keep doing is seizing it from people and dumping it onto the market. That's all they have to do. Okay? And if you ask me, that's going to be the government playbook. And you know why? Because it's the easiest thing for them to do. You don't get to enforce violence. I don't get to enforce violence. Governments get to enforce violence. And as a result, they can continue to steal everybody's Bitcoin whenever they want. So, I think that's going to be the government playbook. I don't, obviously, I'm not trying to freak everybody out and think like, they're going to be going door to door, knocking on and trying to see if they could just take your Bitcoin. Like, that's not, in my eyes, that is just such a waste of energy. What they are going to do is look for these honeypot type of scenarios, right? Exchanges, services that are doing or participating in seemingly illegal activities, right? Stuff like that. This is what they're going to do. And that's how they're going to procure their Bitcoin. Why would the government do it any other way when they already have these mechanisms to just take things back? Anyways, guys, look, all of this to say there's going to be a lot of noise. There's going to be a lot of FUD, especially going into we'll say beginning in, like, let's say October, November, of this year. And again, I hate giving timelines, but fuck it. Why not? You know what? The hopium salesmen give you timelines and you sit there and you're thrilled with that shit and you think it's amazing. So yeah, there you go. I think going into like October, November, December, those 3 months, we are going to start to see, I believe, some Bitcoin fiat exchange price momentum. And I think that all of this FUD right now is just simply shaking out the weak hands, taking advantage of an opportunity, right, of a cool down in the market to suppress the Bitcoin price even more so that they can, whichever entities it is, can accumulate more Bitcoin for themselves. Don't fall for this FUD, guys. That's all I wanted to talk about today. I'll catch you tomorrow.